Knife manufacturers tend to take a very long time just to mail one knife. And today I want to talk about why that is, and it's something many knife manufacturers, and really no knife manufacturer, will tell you. They won't tell you the full process, they won't give you the full reasons, and as the CEO and founder of Shedknives, I'm a knife manufacturer, figured I got to tell you what's going on. Most knife companies won't take a stance, they won't be transparent, so I thought, you know what, if someone's got to do it, it'll be me. Because Shedknives has found itself on purpose in a very similar situation with time it takes to fulfill an order. And I will get to that point later in the video because there needs to be some general understanding. We all need to be on the same page to get to the understanding of that point. Alright, so let me start with knife manufacturers, how they work. Well, first off, what is a knife manufacturer? Knife manufacturers are companies who make knives. A knife manufacturer is basically a business. Their whole goal is to produce knives and sell them and manufacture them in the most raw process possible. It's basically what a knife manufacturer does, but there's a lot more to that. So we're going to go down the line of knife manufacturers, I'm going to go down the line of Shedknives, and I'm also going to end this video with solutions because I'm not a fan of just sitting around and talking about problems all day. So we're going to end this video with solutions. This is by far one of, in my opinion, the hardest hitting Shedknives videos I've ever posted. So if you have a seatbelt, buckle up. If you don't, hold on tight because it's about to get real. First things first, process. Let's start from the very foundation of knife making. Knife making requires raw materials. For Shedknives, I use steel, I use fiberglass, which is G10, I use Kydex, and a variety of paper, whether that's the box that the knife is in, the information sheet, or the box that is mailed. I use paper, and then I also have my various materials, whether it's steel drill bits, or it's wood bases for my CNC machines, or they're sanding belts to sharpen. You have a variety of raw materials, which you think are raw. They're not actually raw materials, those are finished products because someone had to make that drill bit. So let's start with steel, okay? Steel, where does it come from? Well, it's mined from the earth. So people have to go out to the earth and start digging pretty much and find some ore. And I'm going to call this ore dust simply because some steels are, the different ingredients are in a powder. So I'm just going to call it dust because it just comes from the earth. Alright? So there is a company in New York called Crucible Industries, or CPM. CPM makes some of the greatest steel on the planet, and they're a USA company. So what CPM does, they basically order a ton of this different powder to make different steels. When that raw material shows up, which they have to buy, please note every single time I say the word buy and sell, take a note of that. Once they buy that raw material, it shows up to their facility. And then they look at their cookbook of knife steels and they say, we need to make 154 cm today. It says we need this much chromium, we need this much carbon, we need all of these other ingredients. So we're going to make that. And then they take all that dust, all of their ingredients, all of their different knife making ingredients or steel making ingredients, mix them together, and they make massive blocks of steel. And then you have a massive block of 154 cm. That's how they do it. How does that get to the knife? Well, there's another company, again, in the USA that I use, who takes those blocks, those massive blocks of steel, and then they cut them down into more manageable sizes. So CPM's the manufacturer. They take the true raw materials, manufacture, they buy them, then they sell them to this other business who deals in the blocks, where they cut the blocks down into smaller pieces. That business right there is a dealer, because once they take this massive block, they look at it, they're like, okay, we have a big block of steel, These people want 36-inch by 12-inch sheets. These people want 48 by 48-inch sheets. This group wants 6-inch by 12-inch bars. We got to make that. So then they cut it down to size. They get all that stuff. They get it lined up. And then they deal that out. Okay? Then there are companies, like the one I use for my 2023 models, where they buy that at a wholesale price. So now we're at 3 buys. Okay? Just a quick recap. Crucible buys the raw materials. Then the raw materials turn into big blocks of steel, which another business buys, so second buy, and then they process that down into sheets, and then the end user really buys those sheets. That's for steel. Then what happens is you have knife makers like me who buy that steel already processed. So now we're at 4 buys. Okay, I want you to take a note of that. We're at 4 buys so far. How much time has that steel already spent in a truck, driving around to different places, driving around? That's a lot of time. But we'll touch on that once we sum this whole process up. So now the cycle starts again. I become the manufacturer, because now I have steel, I have my G10, I have my Kydex, in the most raw forms for knife making. So I'm now a manufacturer of knives. So we just did a total loop. Manufacturer, distributor, dealer, end user. Whoop, full circle. Now I manufacture. This is what the companies will not tell you. They kind of will, I'll be honest, they kind of will, but they won't. So I'm going to tell you right now. Here's what most knife companies do. The smart ones at least. All the smart knife companies buy their materials in bulk. Then they make the knives. Once those knives are made, it goes down a variety of people, pretty much, different businesses. Manufacturer, shedknives, we'll use shedknives as the example. Then we have our distributor. Multiple distributors, but for this example, I'll give you one. We have the distributor. They buy from me, and then they have a variety of dealers, a ton of dealers that will buy their knives, and that's the trade-off. The trade-off is I have to reduce my price. In return, they'll sell a ton of knives to a ton of dealers that they had to go find. So they're saving me time, but I'm spending money because I have to lower my prices for them. Distributor. Then that distributor sells to a dealer. They sell to a ton of dealers, but again, we'll just use one. Sell to a dealer. And what that dealer does is they buy the knives, and then they have a ton of end users who will buy it from them. So now we have manufacturer, distributor, dealer, end user. And then from there, the end user can either use a knife, store the knife, they can resell it, which then we have now resale market. So we have 5 steps, really 4 that we're in control of, but 4 main steps that the knives move through. Now that you understand the process of how we go from dust to substance, I want you to understand that takes time and that takes money, because each business has to make cash on each process. And a lot of knife companies follow that process all the way down. So they're spending all that markup all the way down. That's what most people do. At least most knife companies do. Now, let's move on to the actual action. What do? I told you what the knife manufacturers do. Let me tell you what I do, because it's more than just make the knives. I can make knives 80 hours a week, no problem. But guess what? Now I can't sell them. Because a lot of people think Shed Knives is this massive team of people and there's so much stuff going on. I'll be honest with you. I take responsibility for my actions. I give credit for other people's actions. Shed Knives, I am Shed Knives. I make all this stuff. I make all these knives. I put them together. I mail them. I record these videos. I edit all of these videos. I post them. I come up with the content plans. I have to deal with all the legal business side of things, the insurance, the whatever that has to be done with the legal side. I have to deal with customer service. I have to email customers. I have to do all this stuff. I'm not a against that, by the way. I'm all for it. I think this is great because now I have all these skills. I have an array of skills based on all of these things I have to do, and I think that's fantastic because I've been given an amazing opportunity to be able to do this stuff. So don't take this as Jack just has so much to do that he can't get anything done. Wrong. I have so much to do and I get so much done. Alright? That's what's going on. That's what Shed Knives does. Now let's break this down a little bit. The knife. I have a knife right here. This is going out to a customer. Here, look, I have it right here. Order number, scales, it's all right here. I'm not lying to you. I've got everything right here. How did this show up? How did this go out? I had to deal with that. This blade, let's talk about why things take forever. Well, you already know the process that most businesses use. Now, let's use what I do. So the steel and everything is processed for this exact knife the same way I told you. Then, at the dealer who sells steel sheets to the end user, which would be me, they also cut knives out. So they cut this blade out. Now the thing is, these people, it takes 4 weeks for this to happen. I already touched on this in a different video, which I'll flag in the corner so you can check that out. But this is going into way more detail. They cut the knife out, it takes 4 weeks. I'll be honest, I don't think it takes 4 weeks to cut out a knife, but I don't know, I guess it does. I'm not a water jet guy. But let's be real, folks, it does not take 4 weeks. But I have to wait 4 weeks for this thing to show up. Now once it shows up, because I'm a fast worker, I get the grind on all 100 plus knives 10 hours a day within 2 days. So now it takes me 2 days to do all the grinds on all the knives, and then I get them in the mail on the 3rd day. Boom. Now it's out, now it's someone else's problem. Then they do the cryogenics. This is a different company in Pennsylvania. They do the cryogenics. Another 4 weeks of waiting. Think about how long this knife sat in a mail truck from when it started as dust to its current spot, and then add on the time it'll go to the customer. It's a lot of unnecessary time sitting in a mail truck, sitting on a workbench, sitting on whatever. So now that you get that general concept, which I'll end with this, once the cryogenics people are done, they send my knives back. Hopefully, they send my knives back, and then I get all the G10 scales done. Once again, because I'm fast, I get stuff done in priority order. I get knives out. Boom, we're fast, we're quick, we get it done. And it's quality. That's what you need for success, by the way. Now, I'm going to set this down. Take a water break. Excuse me. Fantastic. Now, let's talk solutions. Because it would not be smart, at least for me, Jack Billings, it would not be smart to carry on with this like 10-week process for the rest of my life. And I've already said this before, my purpose in life was not made to be in a shop 80 hours a week just making knives. Not my thing. I need conquest. I need momentum. I need just, really conquest is the best definition of what I need. I need to go out and conquer. And that's what the Shed Knives community is doing. We're all here together to conquer. Now, solutions. Let's touch on solutions for a second. You might be thinking, well, Jack, what are you going to do? You can't speed that stuff up. No other company has sped anything up. They just have a lot of money. How are you going to do that? Here's how I'm going to do it. Well, you've been seeing this thing the whole time. This is one of my 2 CNC machines. This is the biggest one so far. I'm going to call this one Big Bertha. It's official. So Big Bertha is here. And then we have this other one. I haven't come up with a name with that one yet. Mini Bertha. We have Big Bertha, Mini Bertha. Mini Bertha is over there. That one does all my G10, or is about to do all my G10. This one does all of the CNC blanks, or it's about to do all the blanks for 2024. Still need to get the cage around it. Anyways, why is this important? Well, it's because I gotta bring stuff in. I hope, I rarely hope, but I hope when I send knives, like this 2023 Shed Knives Sheep's Foot, I truly hope that when this knife shows up at the cryogenics facility, that there is some guy or some girl who opens that box up and is like, purpose, here we go. Their purpose is knives. More knives in, more knives out. That's impressive to them. That's their life path. That's what they want to do. But I hope that. I don't believe that's what's happening. And that's a little disappointing, I'll be honest, because here's what I'm looking for. At least for me, when knives show up, it's like, pow, we got stuff to do. You can ask the people in my life, they know, when knives show up, stuff gets done. Jack has stuff to do. So what I need is motivated, disciplined enthusiasm, you could say. When knives show up, it's time to get stuff done. So that's why, since it takes 4 weeks, anyone with discipline and genuine enthusiasm for the purpose that they're trying to do, nothing takes 4 weeks, okay? So that means, okay, that's not their purpose in life. The employees, the business purpose is knives, but the employee purpose is not. So that means I need to bring this in-house. So knives show up in their little squares or whatever, however I decide to buy my steel. Shows up, goes on this thing, cut, boom, 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 speed, fast, get it done. It's a CNC machine, it's quality. So I get that done. As this is cutting, well, guess what? Now I'm getting G10 done. So more speed, more fast, we're getting stuff done. Then, once these two are done, okay, also remember, this knife has to do cryogenics. So I need a bucket. I don't have my cryogenics bucket yet. What I mean by bucket, imagine a massive Yeti, like the cups. Imagine a massive, like one of these pretty much, that you can stick like 100 knives into a liquid that's negative 300 degrees for 2 hours. That's the only really long thing where knives actually have to sit, and that's in the cryogenics. But stuff is being done. So at that point, that means I can go do other things. And because I'm fast, I get knives out, orders come in, knives go out, boom, 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 get it done. And then I can also take the time to do videos like this. I can also take the time to do social media, my posts, my tips, my skills, whatever. I can do all that stuff because I am quick. And I want to go back for a second, excuse me, on why I am confused with why it takes so long for other knife companies to get stuff done. It truly does not make sense, and I am a very intelligent person, but this just doesn't make sense. My conclusion is either they don't have a plan, they have too many orders for their capabilities, or they're just lazy. And most people on Earth are just lazy, especially in today's world. And here's what I mean by that. There was a company, I won't call out any names this time, but there was a company who did a video during COVID talking about we can't get any knives, or no, it wasn't even we can't get any knives out, it was we can't get materials in. We can't get materials in. We've tried, but we can't get materials in. The first time I watched that video, I was like, you can't get materials in. You're telling me because of the virus, the people who mine ore are like, nope, sorry, not coming in today. Sorry, it's sick outside, can't do that. Or regulations, maybe they were like, I'm gonna go to work, but maybe regulations, I don't get that. I truly don't. And even if that happened, which I'm sure it did, I'll be honest, I'm sure the whole like material, like if they're doing 10 tons of steel dust per day, now it's like 6 tons per day. We'll just say that. I'm sure that happened. Just here's my confusion. You have the entire United States of America to find steel. We'll use 1095. You have which is very common. You have the entire United States to find 1095, and you can't find it. You're telling me, like just one day, whoop, it just all stopped existing. That doesn't make sense. And I couldn't comprehend that. Because when I have a problem with steel, when I have a problem with G10, well, guess what? I look through my list of contacts and I call, oh, Joe, do you have steel? Oh, you don't have steel? No problem, thank you. Boom. Susan, do you have steel? You don't have steel? No problem. Boom. Mike, do you have steel? You have steel? Great. Send me an invoice, I'll pay it. Boom, we're done. That's how I work. So other companies, I don't even know if they're picking up the phone. I think it's out of stock. Guess it's just out of stock. Maybe they called. I hope they called. I really do. I hope they called. But anyways, enough of this nonsense, because I don't allow nonsense in the shop. Okay. But here's what I'm getting at. A lot of these people, they have just constant problems. Whether it's personal life problems or business problems. And I'll be honest, problems will always find a way to enter your life, and most especially enter your business. I deal with problems all the time. There's always another problem, but it's only a problem if you look at it as a problem. I look at it as this is another thing to conquer. This is another opportunity. This is another thing to do. This is great. It's all part of the main mission, which is getting knives out, positively impacting as many people as possible. Now let's continue with solutions. Here's what I want to do. I want to find a variety of skilled people. They don't even have to come to me with skill. They just need to have the desire to do something great. I want to find people who have a genuine desire for conquest as well. We need to conquer. We have stuff to do, Jack. We need more steel. I've already cut 3,000 blanks today. Oh my gosh, 3,000, what, okay, great, boom, order more steel. That's what I'm looking for, whether it's online, whether it's with media, whether it's with shop stuff, because 2023 models, there was a slow portion, and I guess I did not touch on the whole why I chose to do that, and really, to sum it up, it comes down to cash. I do not have the cash for a $250,000 water jet. What I could do though, was a CNC machine, which is way more accurate than a water jet. So had to work my magic with this one. And then also just the quality was insane, an insane increase from 2022 to 23. And I could not take that much time to learn all of these new processes just for knives. So I thought, let me just send these out to other people, we'll get this done, boom, we're good. Now, did it take longer? Yes, it took longer, but now this has given me the opportunity to move so much faster now that I've learned how all this stuff just operates. And I really appreciate that. So if you're at home and you have a pending order and you're seeing it, because this is what the customer sees. They see, place your order, then I get the confirmation email, Jack sends me an email, and then they wait. And then they see me doing all these videos and all this stuff, and I can understand how that could be a little irritating. Please understand, for 2023, my knives were out of my hands for like 8 weeks at a time, excluding shipping. They were out of my hands for so long. But guess what? I realized these people do not work as fast as me, and I need more quality. I need quality stuff, so I can just bring that back in because I'm fast. Just bring it all back in, and that's what I'm doing. Next on the list, I gotta get my big bucket. There's a special name for it. I gotta get my massive bucket for my cryogenics. Anyways, if you want to help with this movement, the Shed Knives movement, if you want to help with that, if you think you have what it takes for conquest, for genuine action, for genuine waking up, pow, time to do something of value. If you think you have what it takes, send me an email. Sales, S-A-L-E-S, sales at shedknives.com. The website, shedknives.com. I'll also put it in the description. Send me an email if you think you have what it takes. All I need from you is bullet points for right now. Your first email should be bullet points on what you know, what you can do, what you're looking for. Just bullet points. Tell me your name, tell me where you're located, USA, wherever. Just tell me. So, because I like to operate just, I guess you could say, micro details, and bullet points tend to do a really good job of micro details. So just send me what you got, and there's always something to do. There always is. So send me an email if you think you have what it takes, and then we'll see. We'll go from there. But anyways, folks, I hope this has explained the whole knife manufacturers taking forever and all this other craziness. Trying to bring more in-house, trying to skip out on this whole buy, sell, all these different chains, trying to move as far up the chain as possible, so that way my knives can still stay under $200, as I plan for them to do, stay under $200 and have quality pieces. So anyways, my friends, my name is Jack, CEO and founder of Shedknives. If you liked the video, hit the like. If you disliked it, alright, hit the dislike. Subscribe, as always, if you like knife content. And I will see you in the next one.